I want you to imagine a map. Maps have many dots on them. And let's call these dots schools, businesses, nonprofits, and even churches. When we talk about engagement with vulnerable communities, many schools, businesses, nonprofits are all doing work that is good for the community, but that work often overlaps. And oftentimes, these organizations and sectors and people, we don't work together in meaningful and intentional ways that really helps benefit our vulnerable populations in perpetuity and sustainably. So this begs the question, why is it so hard for groups to work together across sectors to really benefit and create supportive ecosystems for vulnerable populations? When we don't work together, when we create silos or silo ourselves, we create gaps. That is the unintended consequence, that we are creating gaps and widening the gaps in vulnerable people's lives. What organizations are out there that are working to close the gaps? Who is intentionally connecting the dots that are already existing on a map? My name is Darren Slack, and I'm the founder and chief program officer at ProAct Indy. ProAct was founded in 2010 with the heart and mission to see youth and their communities engage with each other differently. I truly believe that youth are our future. We hear that time and time again. Youth are our future. And oftentimes, those organizations that are engaging with our youth to provide them with meaningful opportunities, they aren't working together. And so I saw this as a young child growing up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and struggling with a speech impediment. I have a stuttering problem. And as a kid, I physically could not talk sometimes. And it wasn't until I got to college where a football coach at Wabash College looked at me and said, "Darren, I want you to go on a mission trip with 20 other football players to Botswana, Africa." And at first I told him no. I made every excuse in the book. I said, I can't afford it. I can't talk in front of people. And where I was in my walk in my faith, I didn't feel comfortable sharing the gospel with people on another continent. But somebody paid my way to go on that trip. It took away all my excuses. And had I not gone on that trip, I would have never discovered my passion, discovered my purpose. Because I realized that the larger the group I speak in front of, I do not stutter at all. And it was through service and giving of my time, my money, my resources, that I discovered me. And so I had the thought, what if I had this experience at a younger age? How would life be different? Since that trip in Botswana, I've been all over the world serving other people and building relationships, and my life changed not because of the act of service, but because of the intentionality of building meaningful relationships. And so in 2010, it sparked the idea to create those opportunities for vulnerable youth like I was. Youth in the margins that aren't usually engaged in opportunities like I was at age 20 in college. And so it started with 10 kids back in 2010. We now serve over 10,000 people a year. And that's driven by the heart and vision and the mission to stand in the gap for vulnerable populations while empowering youth to actively transform their communities. Now, how do we do this? We create what we call proactive communities. And these communities consist of 1 business, 2 to 3 schools, and 3 to 5 nonprofits who engage with each other intentionally and consistently to create a very in-depth, relational, and intentional ecosystem for our youth to thrive. We offer services to businesses to help engage their employees in meaningful and consistent volunteer opportunities for their employees. We offer training opportunities for those employees of the company to really engage with our kids and teach them skills through our innovative curriculum that is all focused on social issues and social justice to teach skills on how youth can use their passions to develop 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. And these are skills that are required to adapt and build upon the modern work environment. For nonprofits, within our ProActive community, we offer technology support and staff support to help build their capacity around volunteer engagement. By us doing this, we keep our pulse on everything that's happening within our communities to help build the capacity and support our vulnerable populations and our youth by standing in the gap for them. And so this is a wonderful time to invest in ProAct because we have evolved many times over the course of the last decade. What started with us as a youth-serving organization, 5 years ago we started to offer services to businesses and nonprofits. And now, with this next evolution of our proactive communities model, we are now able to really take advantage of the zeitgeist of the world right now to offer services to businesses who ask themselves, where can I start? Where is the need? What can I do? ProAct is that solution. So if you invest in us, we can create many proactive communities around the city, eventually in other cities outside of Indianapolis, to really help stand in the gap for vulnerable populations while empowering youth to actively transform their communities.